Hey, what is going on guys? Father Gamer here and welcome back. Today I'm going to be showing you a mod for Schedule 1 that will completely change the way you build your setups for the better. So let's get started. So the mod that I'm talking about is of course delivery drones. Now this is a very useful mod which, as well as change your setups, can also do a few other things for you as well. So I'm going to run you through it. We now have a second delivery app in our phone which allows us to purchase drone stations for each property at the cost of 30,000 per one. We also have a new drones tab up here which allows us to purchase drones for the properties for the cost of 3,000 each. We can also remote view them on their travels to see how they're getting on. And these drones can be set up to do different tasks. For example, if I head over to the stations tab, standby is just idle where they won't do anything. In the deliveries tab you can have them deal your customers for you or supply your dealers. Or you can simply have them transfer items to other properties, well, other drone stations you have. But that's not all the mod can do, because you can also have the drones collect money from your dealers for you. Obviously I've already done that recently, as you can see. But it also adds a weather system to the game, and I'm talking thunderstorms and actual rain in Schedule 1. And this does pose a threat to the drones, because if we were in a storm right now instead of clear skies and our drones are active, they can get damaged by lightning strikes, which means we have to either repair them or recycle them. But being able to transfer items between properties is where the magic happens, because now we can use our locations differently. Instead of everything having to be produced in one place, we can use all of our different locations as a production chain. So like this barn now only grows coca leaves as its dedicated job, and then once it's finished, it sends its finished leaves onto the next property. And I'll show you how it works quickly. I'll give you a little rundown of what I've got going on. So I could just have soil and my coca leaves delivered there. A worker's going to bring it here into the filtered slots for storage. And then my botanists will take them supplies and obviously do their thing with I've got like 64 pots in here, which when fully grown gets deposited into here, which just allows us to produce more without having to divide the workforce between different jobs. So once it's done there, it's going to get brought to the drone station here, and then our lovely drones will take all of these beautiful coca leaves over to our next facility. Now this is probably not the kind of setup you're going to go with until you're established in the late game, because it's quite an expensive setup to get started, and the drone base stations are quite expensive as well, but that's probably just for balance. Anyway, let's go over to the next location to have a look at the next step. So once everything's finished growing at the barn, the drones bring it over here to the bungalow, which I've got set up as a drying rack station. Here comes one of the drones now to deliver the product. Very nice. Currently this property is my only drying facility, but I think I'm going to have to set up some of the other properties to do it as well, because we are starting to fill up a little bit, and I fear that we might be having a bit of a bottleneck here. If I have a look in, oh yeah, we are bottlenecking a little bit, we're kind of full. So I'm going to set up a few more properties as well to be the drying, but as you can see what's going on, this whole place is basically just being used to dry coca leaves. You might be saying, well, you know, there's still space for more drying racks. I've currently reached my employee limit for handlers, and I haven't got enough handlers to be able to route all of the leaves to any more racks. So this is the best we can do with this property, which as you can see is a bit of a problem, so we're going to have to get some more going. But with some more drying properties, it'll all be gravy. But once all of the coca leaves are finished drying to heavenly quality, our handler will bring them out here to the second drone station at this property, and then it will be transported over to our third location, which is the docks warehouse. Oh, sorry about that. Never mind. You'll get over it. It's fine. It's just a work hazard. Once the heavenly quality leaves have been transported to our drone station here, they do get brought in, and you can see we've got a good setup of cauldrons here. But I noticed that I was having an issue where they weren't all getting used, and that's because these cauldrons have like 4 slots, so they're all just getting stacked in the same cauldrons and waiting. So I just blacklisted the 3 extra slots so they can only have 1 each, which means they all get used for maximum efficiency. So I'm going to show you what we got going on here. Obviously all of my coca leaves get brought into this storage here. and all of our gasoline gets delivered and then brought into this storage here, and then all of that gets transported into our cauldrons here. And the reason this setup works so well is all of our final product gets made here, and it's completely automated. We don't have to do anything apart from have a few deliveries of supplies sent to each location when necessary. I am also using the expanded handlers routes mod for this because I underestimated how many routes would be required to supply all of my cauldrons, so we've got a few extra handlers in. I've also got a few sneaky extra employees as well, as you may notice, but this is completely optional depending on how you want your setup to be. So just to finish off the tour, yeah, all of our supplies get brought to the cauldrons, it gets cooked up in there and then moved over to our ovens, which are obviously assigned to each cauldron. And then once they're finished cooking in there, they get put into the storage here, which will then be brought over here to the brick presses and then moved to our final storage here where we have bricks of heavenly cocaine. Obviously I'm a bit short on supply right now because my setup is fairly new and I've just had to supply my dealers. So we've got plenty for today's deals though, don't worry. And if you remember, as I pointed out before, we are having a bottleneck issue over at the drying facility, so let's fix that now. I thought this would be a great opportunity to show you how to actually set up your drone stations if you wasn't too sure, so I'm just going to quickly do, not a proper setup, don't worry, this is just going to be a quick little thing just to make an example of how we would set up a new station. I would obviously do it much better than what I'm going to do it here because I haven't got half the stuff with me that I need, but I just want to show you how to use the drone station mod if you were setting it up for the first time, while I also fix our little drying rack bottleneck issue. So that's 8 for him, is it? No, he needs one more. There we go. Okay, then obviously the next step will be to get our botanists assigned. No, I don't want supplies. I want assign. There we go. And we'll assign him these 8 drying racks like so. There we go. And then we need to set the drying racks up. So if we go on to that, let's actually get them all selected at once so we can set their quality and the threshold for them. We want to set the threshold to 20, quality to heavenly, and we'll just have them put into this locker for now. It would be set to go to a secondary base station, but we're just going to get the one for now. Delivery, and then we're going to need a second one at the barn so we can have that one send the supplies to here rather than the bungalow. So you could see that with a few of these facilities working this way, it does get quite costly, but if you're a kingpin it doesn't really matter. We're also going to want a facility over here, aren't we, to transfer to. So let's just go down to the stash and dash. There we go. It's a little bit slow to scroll. And we'll buy one there as well. He can just stay in standby because he's just going to be receiving goods for now. And then we would also need a second facility to send them off from here over to the docks. But this will do for now. Like I said, I'm not actually setting this up for real right now. I was just doing a quick example to show you how to use the drone mod if you want to set up your own base stations. But we'd get our handler to basically bring the leaves over from the drone station. Where's my drone station? Oh, it's out here. I haven't had one here before. Yeah, so your handler would have to bring all of your leaves over to each of the drying racks, and I don't have a, so I'd probably need another handler because I don't currently have enough. But it was just an example for you anyway. Okay guys, that's going to be it for today. I hope you've enjoyed the mod. I'll leave a link for it down in the video description below, and maybe you can use it to also improve your setups. If you've liked the video, hit the thumbs up button for me. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm Father Gamer. Bye for now.